Good evening, everyone. This is Mark McFadden with Onyx Equities Group, and this is another Onyx Equities Group Presents meeting. We have a special guest speaker this evening, Eric Johnson. I will introduce him in a second, but just wanted to kind of go over a little bit about what Onyx Equities Group is. We are a 2-year-old investment club. We are mainly investing in private equity, which are actual type of companies before they go public. We've had a pretty good track record so far, available to get into investments like Airbnb, Uber, Lyft, Pinterest, Rubrik, and some other opportunities on the private side before they go public. What we are about is collaborative investments. We are pooling resources together. Onyx Equities Group has accredited investor status, which affords us the opportunity to get into these actual deals that individual members may not be afforded to on their own. And to date, we have raised over $1 million collectively as a group to get into these deals. But without kind of further ado, I actually had the pleasure of listening to Mr. Eric Johnson a couple weeks ago on kind of like the Baltimore RIA, which I'm a member of as well. And then we got a chance to sit and talk, and he's a very interesting young man, native Baltimorean. And I'll let him tell you a little bit about his background and how he kind of got to the point where he's at now. So without further ado, Eric, please introduce yourself, and you have the floor.
Okay, so let me share my screen. Can you enable me to share the screen, Mark?
Sure, I will do that. Let's see here. All righty, you should have it.
All right. All right, so can you guys see my screen?
Yes, we can. Just for everybody that's on the line and those that aren't on the line, we are recording this, and this will be on the Onyx Equities Group YouTube channel after the meeting.
All right, so good evening, everyone. First of all, let me thank Mark for allowing me the opportunity to give this presentation. As Mark mentioned, my name is Eric Johnson. I am the founder and CEO of a company called Cubicle Investing. Why Cubicle Investing, you'll find out here shortly. So my thing is, I'm an options trader, right? And so on the agenda tonight, basically, I'm going to go with some brief information about my background, how I got into options trading, of course, what's an option contract, the two kinds of options, why options versus just, investing in stock, the benefits of trading options, and more. So I always like to give a disclosure statement before I give a live seminar or webinar. Here lately, there's been a lot of webinars. So all trading and investing involves risk, right? So past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. I make no promises, guarantees, or warranties suggesting that any trading or training will result in a profit or will not result in a loss. All examples, any mention of stocks are for educational purposes only.
So Eric, just let me hop in here real quick. So folks, one of the things that Onyx Equity Group does as well is we bring you education. So while we have primarily focused on private equity trading the past few years, I want to make certain that we keep everybody up to date and abreast of how you can make money investing every single day, how you can make income, no matter if the market's up, down, or sideways. And Eric has a class, he has the background, he has the experience, and he'll kind of go into that on this call. Okay, Eric.
Okay. Yeah. So as I mentioned, I was born, well, as Mark mentioned, I was born and raised in Baltimore City in an area called Reservoir Hill, in close proximity to a street called Whitelock Street. And anyone who's familiar with Baltimore, can somebody go on mute, please? I'm hearing a lot of background noise.
Yeah, I'm on season 2.
All right, let's see. Somebody's not on mute. I'm putting them on mute. There you go.
Okay. Okay, cool. Yeah. So born and raised in Baltimore City in an area called Reservoir Hill, in close proximity to a street called Whitelock Street. Right. And so anybody who's familiar with Baltimore, you probably have heard of Whitelock Street, and you know that it was notorious for, drug activity and crime. And so one of the many things that enabled me to stay on that metaphorical right track, if you will, was that early on, I developed an affinity for computers, right? And so back in the early to mid 80s, one of the first home computers that one could purchase was the Commodore VIC-20, right? And so in spite of the fact that, I was raised in very financially humble beginnings, one Christmas, I was able to convince my mother to buy me this Commodore VIC-20, and I'm not sure how she was able to come up with the money because, mom raised us on welfare, and we also were primarily raised in a Section 8 apartment, right? So nevertheless, mom was able to scrape up enough money to buy this Commodore VIC-20. And so while a lot of my friends will be outside, doing what children do, I would be in the house actually teaching myself how to program this particular computer using a programming language called QBasic, right? And so essentially what I would do is I would program games from scratch using QBasic, which is a programming language. And so this is like one of the first video games that one could play back in the early and mid 80s was called ping pong, right? So because of my affinity for computers, once I graduated from high school, I went on to university to get a BS degree in computer science. Subsequently, I became a computer scientist. My employer at the time sent me back to school to get an MBA degree. And because I come from humble beginnings, my thing was, save, save, save. So as a computer scientist, I was making great money. And basically I was living way below my means, right? Just saving money. But at some point I started, during my computer scientist career, I started reading books on finance, investing. Of course, one of the first books I read was Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And so I got into real estate investing, right? Because I was already saving money, and I knew that I had read that one of the ways of generating, wealth was actually investing in real estate, right? So my inroads into the real estate space was really by way of wholesaling, right? So I'm sure you guys have seen these signs around your neighborhood or wherever you live. We buy houses. Basically, wholesaling houses is an idea where you look for a person who owns a property but does not live in it. The property hopefully has become a headache to them or a liability. You are able to find these people as a wholesaler. Hopefully, you're able to get the property under contract at an extremely deep discount, and you're able to sell that contract on that property to someone else and charge them a fee. So that's basically wholesaling. So I did that for like a year and a half. Was rather successful at it, but the end goal for me was to actually own property. And so from wholesaling, I learned the business of real estate investing. And so eventually I started a company called Almond Rock Properties. And so now I own a few properties. I'm not balling in the real estate space, but I own a few properties in Baltimore City.
You know what? So Erica, I think it's key to note here, folks. Like we have always talked about in the group, having a portfolio that's diverse. As you see, Eric had a full-time job, started doing wholesaling, which got him capital, built up capital where he could actually turn that capital and now buy investment properties. And now, we'll hear his actual story to leg forward in how he got into investing.
Right. All right. And yeah, thanks, Mark. Yeah. And so, I'm always looking for properties though, so but nevertheless, so in addition to real estate investing, I also got into the cryptocurrency space rather early, so I was one of the quote unquote early adopters in the crypto space, and so I got involved in Bitcoin and also Ethereum back in 2016 when Bitcoin was under $1,000 and when Ethereum was roughly $12.88. I got in. And here's a post that I put on Facebook, one of the many posts that I put on Facebook back in February of 2017, where I was trying to bring to the attention of my Facebook friends this whole new technology called the blockchain, which is the underlying technology of Bitcoin and Ethereum, also all cryptos, right? Trying to tell folks, hey, you need to look into this space. This is a new asset class that I think is going to take off. And today in 2021, basically we have seen where Bitcoin has gone and also Ethereum has gone. And basically we are still early in this space. So I'm also, again, in one of the early adopters in crypto, and so that's one of the things that I sort of teach and also convey to the members who are part of my options trading course. So how did I get into options? So I'm sure anybody who is familiar with the office environment, you are familiar with this view here. It's a cubicle. So as a computer scientist, I'm working one day, this is back in 13, maybe 14. I'm working rather intently on a coding project, probably for maybe 45 to 50 minutes straight, became mentally exhausted and decided to take a break. And of course, during my break, I checked my email and I came across an email that had the subject heading Wall Street Secret. And so basically, the subject heading was clickbait, but nevertheless, the subject heading was intriguing to me. And so I opened the email. As I'm reading through the email, essentially, the email's author was talking about a way of making money from the stock market without actually having to buy any shares of stock. It was called cash secured put options. I had never heard of, options or put options, but one thing I do remember vividly was that there was one woman, there were a lot of testimonials throughout the email, but this one particular testimonial was basically a woman who stated that she was making over $10,000 a month just selling these cash secured put options. So, I was like, okay, I was sold, my gut told me that this was a online investment newsletter that I need to subscribe to. And so at the end of the email, there was a opportunity to subscribe to this online investment newsletter. It was $5,000 to become a lifetime member. And so I subscribed. And basically what they did was they created probably 5 or 6 training videos on options trading, basically walking you through the whole process of trading options. And so I watched the videos probably 5 or 6 times before I became confident, or before I felt confident enough to actually, open a stockbroker's account, fund the account, and start trading. And so what they would do, every Tuesday, they would send me basically, a trade recommendation. So for 2 years, I did nothing but follow their trade recommendations. And this may sound incredible, but I never lost any money. I never lost any money selling these cash secured put options. But selling cash secured put options is very capital intensive. So I decided that after 2 years or so that I would actually take a professional options traders course at this physical location that was facilitated by a company called the Online Trading Academy. And so it was a 2-week class. I think I paid close to $20,000 for this class, but I'm the type of person that, I'm always looking to increase my knowledge base and also to expand my skill set. And I'm willing to pay money if somebody can actually shorten the learning curve for me. Okay, and that's what they did. So after the 2-week course, I walked away with multiple strategies of selling, options, stock options. And so essentially, since 2014, I've been selling put options, call options, doing spreads, and all kind of different strategies with option contracts. Takes a very, doesn't take a lot of time to do this per day. and I've been very successful with it. So what is an option contract? So an option essentially is a contract that controls 100 shares of stock, right? And so an option can be bought and or sold, and all options have an expiration date. So you essentially have two kinds of options. You have a call option that gives the buyer the right, but not the obligation to buy shares of stock at a specific price before the expiration. And then you have a put option. A put option gives the buyer the right, but not the obligation to sell shares of stock at a specific price before the option contract expires. And so a call option, in a sense, gives you the right to get stock, and a put option potentially gives you the right to give stock away. So the analogy that I like to use for a call option is a coupon, right? So a coupon allows you to do what? A coupon allows you to buy a product or service at a discounted price. Same thing as a call option. So for example, let's say you pay $10 for a $90 coupon, right? That gives you the right, but not the obligation to buy an underlying asset. And in this case, the underlying asset is a pair of tennis shoes, right? And the expiration date on the coupon is, as you see here, December 30th, 2021, right? So the coupon has a value of $90. You paid $10 for the coupon, and so it gives you the right to buy this underlying asset that has a current price of $80. But it wouldn't make sense for you to exercise your coupon at this particular moment because the asset's price is actually less than the summation of the value of the coupon and also what you pay for the coupon. But the reason for you actually buying the coupon is because you anticipate that the price of the underlying asset is going to increase above the summation of the coupon's value and also what you pay for the coupon, right? So now it would make sense because the underlying asset is actually greater than the summation of the transaction here for you to exercise your coupon. So that's essentially the same thing as a call option. And every option contract has three primary components. It has the premium, it has a strike price, and has the expiration date. So now a put option is analogous to auto insurance. So let's say you already own an asset. Most folks don't look at a car as an asset, but let's just say, your car is an asset. So you're looking to insure your car at the price point or the strike price of $10,000, and you pay a $600 premium to an auto insurance company. So now in the event that your car is in an accident, you have the right, but not the obligation to file a claim with the auto insurance company, and they are obligated to make you whole at the price of $10,000, right? So remember, every option contract has three primary components: as the premium, the strike price, and the expiration date. So just remember this. So a call option is analogous to a coupon. A put option is similar to auto insurance, right? So in the options world, you have two sides of an options transaction. You have the options buyer side, and you also have the option seller side. So the side that I primarily play on is the option seller side, right? So I am selling the call options and also the put options to the options buyer, and the options buyer pays me a fee, right? So just to give you an example of why options over stock, let's say, for example, one share of Apple stock right now is going for $127 per share. You buy 100 shares of Apple stock. So the capital outlay is going to be $12,700, right? In 1 month, the stock increases by $4. So because you own 100 shares, you just made $400. Great. So the return on your investment would be a little over 3%. So now if we look at that from the perspective of a call option, let's say you buy a call option. Every call option or every option contract controls 100 shares of stock. So you buy one call option, and in this case, it would cost you, in the example that I basically got from the market, it would cost you $3,115 to control 100 shares of Apple stock, right? In 1 month, again, the stock price goes up $4 to $131 per share. So now you will make $379.61, slightly below what you would have made from buying 100 shares of stock. But nevertheless, because your capital outlay is a whole lot less, you can see the return is a lot greater for the call option versus buying the stock outright. So this is why I prefer options. So we are familiar with these logos here, Nike, Google, Amazon, Uber, Facebook, etc. What do all of these corporations have in common? They are publicly traded corporations that we spend our hard-earned money with, and they are also publicly traded corporations that you can sell option contracts on and make money on a monthly basis if it makes sense. And I say if it makes sense because it doesn't make sense all the time to sell an option contract on a specific publicly traded corporation. So the benefit of, go ahead.
Eric, just a question and just a point to help try to clarify this for folks. Not all publicly traded stocks or companies or stocks can you trade options monthly on, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Right. Absolutely. That's correct. Yeah. So you have some underlying assets that actually do not have options.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't trade options on them. Then you have some that only have monthly options.
Okay. And I think it's important to note, folks, that trading options is another way that Eric and many others have been able to make weekly to monthly income derived from trading options. So no matter if the market's up, down, or sideways, the underlying asset, the actual company stock, by trading the options contract, which is 100 shares of stock in one contract, they're able to make or derive income weekly or monthly, kind of like on this. Okay, Eric.
Yep. So some of the benefits of knowing how to trade options, you don't need a lot of money to get started. So you can, I have some students who have started with as little as $2,000. You can make money, as Mark mentioned, in any market conditions. So regardless of if the market is going up, it's going down, it's trading sideways, understanding how to trade options, you can still make money. It's a great way of adding an additional stream of income to your household, knowing how to trade options. You can literally get paid to buy stocks. And this is one of the things that most folks aren't aware of, but you can actually use option contracts to take a stock position, right? And so let's just say, for example, if a stock is trading too high, you want to buy it at a discount, you can literally sell put options on that particular underlying asset or that particular stock and get paid to wait until the price of the stock actually drops to the price point in which you're looking to get in. You can literally rent stocks that you already own by using options. You can make money while you sleep. And so this here is a chart that I like to show, particularly considering the recent situation that we have been in since February of last year, and we kind of still are in the situation. So this here is a chart of the S&P 500, and basically it starts around the early part of February of last year, where the market was trading as high as 3360, right? And then as the pandemic or as COVID-19 became more of an issue, obviously the market dropped. And so the market experienced the largest and fastest drop in history. So in roughly a month's time, the market dropped a little over 34%. And a lot of folks were panicking. I had a lot of friends who were, in 401ks, and they were actually jumping out of their 401ks. And I was telling them, no, this is a great opportunity, because the market is definitely going to, it's going to come back. And I foresee that the Federal Reserve is actually going to step in and prevent the market from falling even further, and so that's exactly what happened. So when COVID-19 was declared a pandemic, the economy was shut down and millions of folks were forced to file for unemployment insurance, and the Fed stepped in, took the interest rate pretty much to zero. and they started buying corporate debt. And what happened? The market started to make all-time highs, and so while there were millions of folks who were basically out of work, a lot of businesses were shut down, folks who own equities and who understood how to trade in the stock market made a lot of money during this period. So as we can see here, so the market has been as high as 42, 49. And so basically the market has fully recovered and is up close to 100%. And essentially what has happened is basically the wealth gap between, the wealthy and the middle class has increased substantially, and so last year, myself and quite a few of my students, we made, pretty decent money last year because we just rolled the market up, and so, for example, a young lady who I taught options trading last year, I think she got in around June or July, and she got in, she started out with $10,000, and by December of 2020, last year, she made over $7,000, so just basically just starting out trading options in July, in 6 months, she made a 76% return on her capital, and so so this is the the opportunity that one can experience when you are familiar with how options work and the various strategies that one can use to trade options, regardless of what's happening in the market, whether the market is going up, going down, or trading sideways. You can always make money in the stock market, understanding how to trade options. So just like the online investment newsletter I spoke about, the way they develop their training videos, I pretty much have done the same thing with Cubicle Investing. Here's the website here. And so the investment to join the Cubicle Investing community is $2,000. Essentially, just go to the website here. Essentially, what I've done is I've created various training videos that walk you through the entire process of how to trade options, what options are, how options are priced, talking about the Greeks. So the Greeks, there are 5 Greeks that actually determine the price of an option contract. So everything that one needs to know is in my training videos. I also have slides that you can download that pertain to the training videos. I have a review that actually allows you to test your knowledge of the information that's conveyed in the training videos. Instructions on how to open an account, a stockbroker account, how to download the trading platform, a Cubicle Investing options dictionary so that you can be able to speak the language of an options trader. I've also developed a Cubicle Investing options trade log, and the most important product here is the I call the IV gauge, the implied volatility gauge, because understanding when IV is high and when IV is low will dictate which kind of option strategy one should use. And so I have a video that actually demonstrates how to use my IV gauge that I developed. There's also an opportunity to have a one-on-one coaching session with me. And if you decide to join, I have a introduction video that basically walks you through, just like I'm doing now, everything that's included in the membership package. And again, so it's $2,000 to join. And also I do send out a weekly newsletter that comes out every Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you would like to receive that newsletter that I send out every week, that's geared towards finance and also investing, you can sign up for my my free ebook here. Just put your first name and last name and email address. You'll be automatically put into my database, and you'll receive my weekly newsletter. And also, I have a ebook that costs $25 that actually shows you, sort of gives you some insight into some of the training videos. So you'll have access to links inside of this ebook that actually will take you to videos that actually show you how to implement some of the options trading strategies that I teach in my course.
Okay. Well, Eric, we have a countdown going on. We have about kind of like 6 minutes. So let me hop in here real quick. So first of all, thank you for coming on to share a little bit about your background and your humble upbringing in Baltimore City. We greatly appreciate that. Here at Onyx Equities Group, what we, strive to do is impart the important information into our community to help our folks learn about investing, be able to invest, and be able to grow, and in hopes that they can change their financial state, not only for themselves, but for their families, for actual type of generations to come. So again, while we have primarily focused
Stay
on
outside. I'm gonna let them in.
private equity, I definitely wanted to have this educational moment to share with Onyx Equities members about investing. You can make money any market, up, down, or sideways, stock trading, options trading. During the height of the pandemic, a lot of people, when they were closed off, not able to go outside, they started taking classes. They started to get smart about how to invest and how to grow. If you take your capital and you put it just into a normal type of savings account, kind of like a money market account, even kind of like a CD, you're not getting much interest, anything over 3% these days at all. So what Eric has here is a platform, is a community by which he can teach you how to do options trading, and you can take back over that ownership of having somebody else manage your 401k or your IRA, what have you, and put that money into your own investment account and trade that and increase your own wealth. So greatly appreciate you, Eric, for actually coming on. The link is also in the chat, so Eric, again, is the owner and CEO of the actual type of Cubicle Investing.com. Email is info@cubicleinvesting.com. And you can go there to sign up for his weekly newsletter. Eric has become a partner with OEG. So I definitely would like to see some of our folks join into his actual type of community and learn this skill set and bring it back to the group, and we can all discuss and talk about it. I'll also post this information in the Slack channel as well. So it will be there for everybody. And again, this meeting is being recorded and it will be out on our YouTube channel. So if you go to YouTube and just do a search for Onyx Equities Group, you'll see this video and all of our other videos that we have done year to date out there as well. Is there any questions? We got a couple of minutes left. I'll open it up to anybody who has anything that they want to ask Eric.
Yeah, and just real quick, Mark, we also have our own social media platform, if you will. So for those members, they have access to information that other members of the community share on this social media platform.
Okay.
And I also give out trade recommendations as well. So normally, sometimes 3 to 4 trade recommendations a month. It just depends on what's going on in the market.
Got you. Good deal.
Yeah. And so far, I've sent out maybe 15 trade alerts, and we've only lost on one. So this here is the one that we lost on Zoom, where we lost $103, so, but other than that, everything else, we have been profitable on. So,
Okay.
quite a few trades that I have sent out here.
All right. Well, that sounds good. Sounds good. So if there is nothing else, folks, I greatly appreciate everybody coming on board. If you do have questions or you have anything you'd like to add, the Slack channel will be open. Eric's email and website information I'll post in Slack is also in the chat here as well. And with that, I'll say good evening and good night. Thanks, everyone.
All right, thanks, Mark. Have a good one.
All right.